So just give you a little bit of update while everybody's coming in the room and me getting back online. Uh, we lost a half of our electricity in our roof of our house, and we just right before COVID hit, and we just kind of left it, because when you adapt and you don't realize, it's not one of those. I moved out of that. Oh, we got to get things fixed immediately, or we got to do this, got to do that. I moved into a state that you just go with the flow, and there's timing and all of this, and so my husband says, "Hey, I think Spirit's telling us it's time to get our electricity back." I go, "Yeah, yeah," and then you start thinking about it, and I forgot what some of the switches are in the houses were for, and it's like we have all the power points, we just didn't have the ceiling light. And so I just plugged in lamps in the kitchen to cook, and now I can see how dirty my house is. It's like, but then, yes, taking a shower with heat lamps, and oh, wow, that's nice. And there's a fan. Oh, yeah, I forgot all about that. And so I really learned how to appreciate by not having. And it wasn't in the ego mindset to be like, oh my God, I'm going back to my poor days. And it's not that we were poor. That's not it. It's just COVID came. And then the next thing you know, you start to live with it. And it's slowly adapting like that frog in water. And then it starts to boil. You just adapt. You don't think. You come complacent. Or you didn't have to go into high beta and just constantly, I got to do this, and buy this, buy that. We hardly spend money. Food we buy, we intentionally make sure we buy a lot of vegetables and things like this. So it's great. We got some electricity back, and it's like, so I go to take a shower, and this morning I'm like, why am I doing it in the dark? It's not that you can't live without, and it's not that you're depriving. That is such an important thing that you begin to notice when ego mindset comes in. You feel like you're lacking, you have loss, you're depriving. If that old paradigm is not really affecting me as much, and I'm like, woohoo, I had to have done something. So I actually feel quite happy. And, and then after a while, I'm like, yeah, I'll save money in the bank, just keep electricity off. It's different. And it's like when you begin to get the wisdom, when you start setting the parameters. So you're working with spirit, you're living and breathing, walking, talking with it every day. Then there is this part of you that can go into a certain state, which has a lot to do with, how do you want to put it? Developing healing. Okay, your life is shit. You don't know how to fix it. You're doing what you can, and you don't want somebody else coming and fixing it, because sometimes their answers are not your answers, but maybe they're bound to determine that they're going to force those answers, and because they know better for you than you do, and it becomes very wishy-washy, indecisive, feeling crazy, all of these little things. And what do? Okay, we have to find ourselves. We have to find our center. When we start to take up and be other people's identities, yes, please run codes. That'd be great. And I'm in an integration period. This is what I feel. And I'm in the retrospect. I think that's the word I want. Looking at the growth, looking at all of that good stuff. It's important. It's important to be able to begin to see those things with your spirit mind, because ego takes over. You just go left brain and you go into high beta, and you can go into stress and worry, but I don't live there anymore. I doing my best to really notice that what can't I see? Okay. So your physical body is constantly talking to you. Every part of you is talking to you. You don't have to see the ego as the enemy. You can actually learn to understand it, that it's a lens. You can also understand that when you start to get closer to the middle of what I call the seesaw, the karmic balance, that it is actually can be used as an ally. And it's like, what? Ego, your friend? Yeah, because when you come to the terms of where I'm at, You look at ego as a lens, and it can bring you all the proof. If you're in negative mindset, it's going to bring you out the proof. But if you're in spiritual mindset using that ego lens, then you can see all the proof of good. Like I'll say, thank you, Spirit, for showing me. And then it will show me. So you are learning. Now, what is it that you're not willing to see? Now, there's different levels to this. If an ego person comes up to you, what are you not willing to see? As in a very sarcastic way of what? What do you think that means? Well, you're not willing to see it. What do you think that means? And it's important we begin to see what these ego thinking is. Because sometimes when we get into, and I'd like to hear your comments, sometimes when we get into a state of, I don't want to see that, we're rejecting that reality. We do it for several reasons. One, when we're little, we can't change that reality, and it hurts to see that reality. So we will do our best to survive that reality. You get a little older, you begin to see signatures of people where you rejected, and you'll see it in other people, and then you'll reject that reality. I don't want to see that reality. It hurts. Ah, very good, Patricia. She says, and with that ego comment, when somebody says that to you, oh, you only care about yourself. And let's take it deeper, because in self-care and spiritual growth, it is so much more than that one linear lens that ego needs to see it. And we really need to stop taking offense and stop taking it personal, because the moment that we take it personal, we give them our power. The moment we take it personal, we take that and say, that hurts. Well, we're not just blaming them. We are on some sense going, oh, this hurts. Let's see how much it does hurt. And then we jam it and hurt ourselves by thinking and thinking and thinking and feeling it, being it. And most of the time we get really hurt when they say something that has the slight of truth, maybe a word, and they twist it because that's their filter and their opinion. And that maybe that's their maneuver of control dramas, the pulling of the energies or the pushing. And what do? We know it's not the truth. We want to self-justify. We want to correct. We want to take care of it. What's the problem? Why are we believing them in the first place? Why do we give them the hierarchy? Why do we give them the say on our life? And when people were running around telling me, oh, you're such a witch. And I'm like, first of all, what is your definition of a witch? And what is so wrong with that religion? If you don't know anything about it, keep your nose out of it. If you don't understand it, then ask questions. And I'm like, people need to learn how to do respect, use the and. And I feel like I need to write about social intelligence, about how we start to work as a spiritual group, a community. We say we want spirituality, but you can't live out two sides of your mouth. You can't just live in ego and try to be spiritual. It ain't going to cut it. We need to stop the hate in this world. We need to do this. And I feel in a way we need to go deeper. Yeah, why? Ask the question. Why do we give them our willpower? And really, oh, somebody says, I give my power away because I'm struggling to find myself. That's really good. And when you begin to notice this, the question is, can you stop it? Can you change it? Can you help yourself? So let's go a little bit further. So I don't really take offense to signatures. And this is part of the social intelligence I'll be teaching, signatures about people. But how do we know this? Okay, what are signatures? What are all these things? And somebody says, do you think it's about self-judgment and self-acceptance? In your ego mindset, yes. I'd like to teach people how to see the two differences and move into discernment. Because when you start to go into that spiritual mindset, the biggest thing that what I'm teaching is not just the thinking. You need to understand the vibrational intensity that your body speaks to you with. So like you're happy, and then all of a sudden somebody's around you and they're worried. You can feel it. If you pay attention, your heart brain goes, something's not right. Your immune system will start to copy if you don't pay attention to that, and you will start to feel this stress. If you can't really determine between what is their energy and your energy, you're going to get swooped up. But if you haven't really developed your spiritual identity or authenticity, you will think that's yours. Oh, very good. Very good. Most of this, I give my power away because of fear of conflict and reaction. Exactly. A lot of people do this because I was sitting there asking the question, why is my neck hurt? Why is my neck hurt? And my healing buddy says to me, what are you not willing to see? And that was not done in a sarcastic, egotistical way. It was, she knows me. She knows that from the inside out, I'm looking, and usually we'll get this thing what's called unconscious incompetence, which means we can't see it. Others, maybe, we can't see it. But if I know that's where it is, it's like, how do I get that lid open so I can see it? And I know more and more about what this looks like. So it's about asking a good question, changing the question, and when you're in ego mindset, and this is important, you see this. If she would have said with the frequency of something else, if she would have came with her attitude or ego-ishly, it'd be, what are you not willing to see? In a way that, what? How dare you say that? I am seeing it. We go into defense mode, and then we take that pain and we start to keep stabbing ourselves with it. What's that? There's a meme out there that anger is a weapon you use on yourself or against yourself. Oh, I can't remember how that meme goes. If anybody knows that one, let me know. So even though you may be mad at them, but it ends up being a weapon on yourself, and you can contemplate on certain words and just sit with them. And I was like, damn, why am I doing that? Okay, so over time, I was just like, okay, so now the intensity is what you have to pay attention to. Because when you're in spiritual mindset, you will know when you start to feel the vibrations off, you pay attention, you ask, hey body, what is it? What am I picking up? What's going on? Or you ask about healing. Everybody says, well, aren't you healing 24/7? Yes, but I'm also creating 24/7. So how can you do both? Well, I ask Spirit if it's supposed to have my attention, then let me know so I don't have to flounder around, show me, and then teach me, then help me create a future pace. So this is what's been happening. And it was the question, because I am this face of Medicine Wound Solution. It is, what am I not willing? Now, a lot of times people are not willing because they don't want the nuances. They don't want to change those, the little things. Like I was watching Fringe. It's a really good TV show years ago. And his Olivia, because there ended up being two Olivias from two different universal dimensions. And the faux Olivia that they called her, she acted almost just like the original. And finally, she got into the rhythm of this is who, he got used to it. And part of him knew. Now, and when you have this intuition, there is this splicing that you do intuitively. And you know that it's not right. And it's a little bit different than the issues when you don't know how to trust somebody. This is when you know the nuances. So he could tell that something wasn't right, but every time he listened, well, that's her. So like the nuances, when I was, the transformation of where I was before from Michigan, I would hear in people's voices mimicking those that were controlling the conversation. So I was not really having conversations with the people that can think for themselves. I was hearing almost words verbatim, the tone, the way they wanted to express themselves and the opinions. And I'm like, well, that's not really you. I know your nature. That's not really you. And I know whose tone and whose voice that is. That's not you. So if they don't know it, so I just took it as a grain of salt and I says, look, I know that this is happening. So I just stepped back, and instead of wanting to cause fights or any of that, I don't need to play in that. So I am not willing to play in that field. But what are we not willing to see? Now, if I had not seen that, oh, I would have, we could have, I could have done, like Melissa said, avoid a fight, or I could reject that in my reality and fight back. And it's those reactions that you have to really heal out. But it's, how do you know them? There's an intensity. Beautiful. Patricia says now here's the thing. She's aware that she can see this, but how do you heal it out? So one of the things she said was, I close my eyes a little bit when I'm driving and look at others because I'm afraid of seeing how people react to me. Now, interesting enough, she said her eyes. Now, when we grow up, now you've heard me talk about many ways we can use our eyes, but here's one thing. We have this whole parameter, and we have this, what do you call it? Boy, come on, channel. Peripheral vision, the things you can't see, and then all of a sudden you can tell it's there, and then all of a sudden you can actually begin to see it. So, and then there's all of this. Now, when you're little and you're being yelled at, or the person that loves and that love is being taken away, that separation from love or separation from spirit, you will, where is it going? Where's my happy? Where's it going? But if this energy is a push, then it can come in all directions. And usually it'll come down at us because we're little and they're big. And we will hold pictures everywhere. So in a certain kind of healing, I can't remember because I took two particular courses, I think Body Talk and EMDR, so I can't remember what they're called. Yeah, channeling at its best today. I just want to laugh. Okay, but I have a direction here, and part of my mind when I'm like, I don't have to be looking in that direction. I can feel it coming from that direction. And if I'm standing in a person's level here, I'm going to still have it here, but I'm also going to be making sure that this is the filter. So I'm looking for the intensity, I'm looking for the behavior. Without realizing it, I've got pictures. Now, I have mentioned before that in our mind, it takes pictures of 2 pictures, pretty much. It takes a bunch of pictures, okay? And that's the way the brain speaks. But if you even if you had your eyes closed, you could sense the energy coming in that direction. And it's all about sensing. So when I start teaching about intuition, it's about using all of your sensory system, all of your clairs. And you'll notice when you are more calmer, you will end up using all of them to some degree. But when you're stressed and you use your intuition, you're going to use a dominant one. But if you use your dominant one through ego mindset, you're going to train yourself with the wrong intuition. But if you use your dominant one when you're not stressed, but you use it in your spiritual mindset, even when you're stressed, you get better at it. You will notice in a memory or an active memory or way it was expressed. So if you've ever been hit, you will see that direction without realizing it. You could point to it. Like I can, what am I doing? I'm pointing to the direction right now that I have. Now, this one doesn't bother me. It's in my memory bank. Memories are memories. But when you take the charge off the memory can be a memory. A lot of times people's active memories will have such a major charge, and your soul's asking, can you heal it? You are recalling it because this is how it's stored. And then you project it out so that you can see it, so that you have a chance to heal it. So what am I not willing to see? We've seen it, but maybe we don't understand how to resolve it. Okay, this is where I would tell you to come see me, but I'd also tell you to, you can do it. It takes time, but you can do it. You go to the resolving page and you look for the sensory accessing and you start to take and remove the pictures, the sound, the eyes, or if it's the feeling or the nose or the taste. And you can just do the directions. Eye switching, just knowing that, holy crap, you don't have to look in through the eyes. There's a part of you that all of a sudden you're like, oh, I can feel it out here. And you want it gone. You can resolve those out. So there's a lot of things you can do. So Sonia says, I can feel and then I can hear it, like drop it, move on, ignore, or work it out, or let it go. But it's definitely hard because ego will have you wanting to go backwards. Yes, that is where the tools were. Oh, that's where the whatever. Me and Miranda had the same line. Yes, that is when, if you are in your health, that's what I would refer as to hell, your 41 thoughts per minute. There's all of these different ways to step up even though you're an ego, you're learning how to break from that by awakening to see the spirit. So you know this view, this is ego, and you haven't learned this one yet. But if you can start to learn it while you are shifting the emotional chemical peptides, which shifts the thoughts, you will then start to see the other side of the mirror. And you'll get really good so you can see both sides. There you will jump in the middle. And again, you'll look at the wisdom and you'll be able to move forward. Because sometimes I will talk to people and they'll just think I'm the most foreign person in the world because they can only see like one perspective. Or they see a bunch of perspectives, but they can only see it through ego. But when you start to heal, you get to see what I see. You get to stand back and you do it more with discernment than judgment, because there's an appreciation for shit, I was there, or maybe still there. But then it becomes the power of choice. But if you're an ego and you're doing this back and forth, you won't get your power of choice. You'll try to force yourself. You'll use the control dramas in yourself. You'll do the push-pull within yourself. But when you heal and you measure and you see the difference and you have the evidence, you'll get to see ego, but you also get to see the spirit, and you get to stand in the middle and you get to learn to do I. And I am that, and I am, and you learn to change that, and you learn and you're done with these buts, these belief under transitions. You learn to find your nature, you learn to find that authentic you, and people won't affect you as much. Things will change. So what am I not willing to see? So again, what's unconscious and incompetent? Sometimes it has a lot to do with the fact it's already in your face. You just never taught yourself to see it. So that is another form of, what is it, cognitive dissonance? Oh, I think I finally said it. But there's all these different areas that you are meant to like slowly awake with. And it's not about pointing fingers. If you're still pointing fingers, then you're still an ego, and let yourself have that as a sign and say, wait a minute. Do I want this personality, this behavior, this mood? Do I want all these? No. Is it really me? Is it my nature? No. But the intensity. The intensity is causing this. Well, then remove the intensity. Well, it's these people. Now remember, they're only a projection of that to which you've lost or where you've invested your power. So when we go back in, and like I like how she said it. Hold on. Everything's going good. I'm doing my best to overcome. Now, I will tell you, overcoming is great, but it's going to have the roots. And if you ignore, then the roots are still there. The vibration's still there. Those are ego's way of doing it. I take the bull by the horn and I sit down and I allow myself to feel it, to heal it. Because when you allow yourself on that deep level, using a tool, don't do it in ego. If you allow yourself, and let's say you're sitting here and you're thinking you're doing this and that without a tool, you're only wiring your brain, and then your body remembers it, and the body consciousness plays it out like a GPS. shit keeps repeating. You literally need to, if you're going to think it and you're in your house, this is what I refer to, then you usually can grab a tool, OMG, hope therapy, all of these things that can make you, allow you to go step, calm the charge down, if not heal that out. It changes the thought pattern to slow down, but it also changes the words. So you don't have to quite, oh, they do this to me. And you're like, well, you know, and you will begin to notice all these little things. And eventually you get to, well, do I even need to do it at all? Or do I even need to see it that way? We lose a lot of power. So I'll be sitting there and we have to become greater than the environment. And all of a sudden my neck will hurt. And it's like, what am I not willing to see? And it'll be something in the environment. These are referred to as engrams. Now, engram is this, usually they'll tell you, oh, you have to have a power of suggestion, or maybe it's like you're unconscious, and you know, what happens is that it doesn't matter. It depends on where your state is in your mind and what's happening. But if you are in great fear, you are narrowing in to survival. And so without realizing it, you're recording every 400 billion bits of information. But this time you have now marked this scary thing. It goes with the color blue. Over here is this, and there's a man. Okay, so every man is this way. This here, oh, I know the force of that pain. So everybody's doing it. So these filters, so everything equals everything. So you've heard of like tracks like. Well, this is an engram where everything equals everything, which means if I was hurt by my father, then I may look at every man or somebody with that tone or somebody wearing that color or something, because it may not even be about them. It could be what was in the environment. It could have been a sunny day. It could have been too hot. So when we start to break this down, we get a lot of benefits because our body starts to say, I'm greater than the environment. I don't have to let the environment, whether the temperature changed and all of a sudden my body hurts. So my neck, it was so funny because people say you get your nose out of joint. Well, I believe what I heard when don't get your neck out of joint. I know I'm in a mandala, which means the mandala effect, things are changing. But that phrase, and my neck will go out because what am I not willing to see? So on another level, it is, I know it and I know what I have to do, but I don't want to do it. It's going to cost me. When it came to standing up to my ex, if I stood up, it's going to cost me the relationship. Now, this is what ego would tell me. Now, when I stood up, it didn't cost the relationship. It changed it. But one of the things that really woke up my eyes was the fact is I disturbed his reality. I want you back the way you were. Well, you like it better when I'm broken, but I don't want to be broken anymore. So grow with me and love me as I'm learning how to become whole again. And when a person has to control their world and everything shows up the way it is, it has to be a certain way or else they're just going to fall apart, die, or whatever. And they believe that the horror they had, they couldn't control. So they're going to learn to find something they can control. And everybody does it because it's part of that survival mindset. So when you're sitting there and somebody is different and it disturbs you, you know that it doesn't fit. There's different ways to see it. And social intelligence, part of it has to do with the fact is that you've seen this before. You've seen it before when something happened when you're little and it was related to how you got hurt. You've seen that signature before. You've seen that attitude before. But when we start placing labels onto somebody in front of us, which is untrue, we have to wake up and go, shit, I don't like that signature. Like facial hair. I saw somebody with facial hair and it was like, oh, I love that. And then it was at the same time, I also don't like that. And then when I asked, it was, I think it's great. It looks great on people. But there was one person that attacked me that had the same facial. But I can't hold that and hate all the people that had facial hair like that. I had somebody, because my name's Brenda, their mother died. Her name was Brenda. I think she killed herself. And they resented me for it just because my name was Brenda. It had nothing to do with me. It had to do with my name. So as you begin to wake up, you can learn how to use everything that's there and tools with it, and you begin to evolve faster. Good, Nikki. She says, I've been feeling such a change lately, a lot. Doesn't bother me and much these days, and I used to be an over an analyzer. Good, because getting rid of being that part of your personality only means that you're going to go fuck yourself. You're going to screw yourself over. You're going to cause pain and suffering. And that's just, but you're moving from the left brain and you're allowing the right brain. You're allowing the integration that really needs to take place. And as that integration takes place, that's one of the benefits of healing. All of a sudden, that intensity from the environment or your body is reacting to something, it's not there. It doesn't have to be. So what am I not willing to see? And a lot of times we don't want to see something because we're afraid, again, that we will lose somebody. You have to be okay to grow. Patricia says, yes, the bottom line, you need to use the healing tools and make an appointment. Yes. Yes. And that's the thing. It's a power of the eye. When do you know you've got enough experience? Well, when you got enough's enough and you're done. And usually when I hit that stage, bam, I don't have to do that anymore. I don't have to take that intensity of that ego to go that far. And that'll get easier and easier and easier because you're just this big ball of, and then eventually you're getting stronger and stronger while all this calms down. You're getting benefit after benefit of awakening, seeing more of the bigger picture, but you're also calming down and loving the fact that you don't have to be in that space. Like everything was going great. Something happened in January, and all of a sudden the intensity from the outside was huge. And it was causing my body to react. And my body says, we don't like this. And I said, well, I got to stop giving my power away. How do I change it? And it said, stop believing in the fear. And I said, where did I lose the power of my fear? And it was when I read something, and I'm like, oh, jibble squats. Okay, fine. So then it's like, I said, do I want to run with this and make it worse? Or do I want to take charge? So it's power of the eye. I had this one person that I hated. Oh my God, my God. But as they said they wanted a healing and they realized, I don't want the healing. This is how I've identified myself. And they apologized. And I says, oh, well, no, you don't have to apologize. I get it. But you just remember when you're ready and you said, enough's enough and I'm done, the power within you, which is your authentic self, will literally learn to turn inward and you will rise like the phoenix because you'll take that power off that shit, rise. Take that power off that belief and rise. And eventually it'll be like, yeah. See, like, and it's funny because do I have cravings for snacks? No. This last time it's like, why am I? Oh, I didn't give myself permissions on the body, mind, soul, and brain, and it's in the heart. And it's like, as soon as I gave myself my permissions, I'm in charge. It changes everything. It's different when ego's in charge. But when your authentic self stays in charge, the willpower is there because I'm not taking that will and investing it in, oh, I want a snack. I have loss. I need to press. No, take the power off it. You get your willpower back. You don't have to go into spiritual debt. I can't tell you. I mean, if it wasn't for the fact that this body wants to eat, I probably would care less if I ate. So it's important. Yes, we can trigger others without knowing. Absolutely. A person might not know it either. Yeah, exactly. If, I love this one. Like for instance, person's driving a car. Now every day they see this jogger, every day, same routine, program. And that day the person looks over, the jogger's not there. It ruined their day. Oh my God. And it's all because we have a tendency to not realize that we blame, that we live on one side of the mirror or inside the mirror. And we don't realize that we have to get out of that. I mean, very good, very good. Yes. You don't even know you're bothering people. And they're not a bad person. This is why some people say, well, aren't you and your ex enemies? Well, we're not talking. But at the same time, we're two great people that just doesn't fit. As we fit, both of us are shit. But if you pull us apart and you got to know us differently without the talkings of others to persuade you to make that decision, would be two great people that no longer are good together. We came together, we got what we needed without realizing it. We're done. Time to move on. And okay, so I'm hoping you guys are getting about this. What am I not willing to see? And what came to me was I was not willing to see how being parented, and it, not about my mother, it was another family or another adult doing their best. But the way their tone, the way that they did things, and the way they carried themselves, it left a mark on me. And so it's called like a learned behavior or learned helplessness or learned. And the power of the fear, put fear in them. This is what I know. You put fear in them and they'll do anything. That, as long as you quiver in front of them, yeah, they're okay. You can sit back as in a child and you're like, oh my God. Because I remember that, a little child's stomach's small. Well, everybody had big plates and I got a big plate. Liver, onions. Okay, I love liver. I don't care for onions. But my plate was big as everybody's, and my plate was heaped up with food. And I was told I had to eat that. And I would get such punishment because one, I wouldn't eat it. And even in how stubborn I am, it's good for you. But at the same time, what I did eat, they didn't appreciate. They wanted it all gone. You got starving kids in China or Africa or whatever, wherever you're located, you're going to have somebody that they're trying to get you to do something. So there will be different ways of manipulation, guilt, shame, all of this that gets used. There was a gal in my class with me, triggered the bananas out of me, and she had no clue. With the help of Brenda, I worked through it, and the gal and I are good friends. Oh, excellent. Because there's no reason that again, when I say there's no reason, in spirituality, you can begin to see how all the dots are connected. But in ego, it'll be like, and then when all of a sudden you begin to see the other side, when you see that I don't have to take it personal, or that they are a projection, or it's my response of an old thing, and you heal all that inside, you can actually learn how to have an and respect for people. Very good. Okay. So what am I not willing to see? Okay. They didn't want to stick my neck out because I know that if I said something or did something, or I showed attitude, oh, you did not do that. If you back talk, you got backslapped. If you are, and that's where I think that the neck got a joint, because I remember constantly one of my family members would always get yelled at and just, oh my God. And then because of the family dynamics had changed and there was a new person in the house, everybody seemed to get their neck out of joint. And it was like, we're going to test the boundaries. We're going to do this. We're going to say what we're going to say. And the biggest thing that scared me was when I would see fist fights. I could feel the blow of the energy way across the room. And that scared me so bad. I couldn't make it stop. The energy was flooding into my space like a sonic boom. I couldn't make that stop. And so there's a part of me that like, I will watch TV, but if I get too involved, but if I can keep the emotions from being triggered in my brain, healing will usually do that, I can stand back and really understand, but I still am not crazy about the pictures. So I healed those out. Now I can sit back and watch a movie and not have it to be invading in my space or triggering certain things. All right, I'm hoping this makes sense. Please let me know if you a little bit more about it, okay? Oh, sweet, we have a reading and a pay it forward. I love it, I love it, I love it. Melissa gave a pay it forward, wonderful. So the first person up will be Melissa, and then we have a pay it forward. So that is absolutely wonderful. And now we had somebody that re-signed up to Tribal. Excellent, excellent. Love to hear it. And just for you understand, hey, Jennifer, just for you understand that the Tribal is it's not just your, I'm just going to give you fluff. No, I give you meat and potato. I am serious about how we can help person move, but it all depends on it. And if you are the I and you said that you're ready. And you're ready to dive in and to go deeper into awakening. So we're going to take the number game for that. How many people got in the room? 14. Okay, if anybody want, well, yeah, we probably could. Yes, for the pay it forward. Then we can play the number game. Thank you, April. Tribal is awesome. Make the investment here. Yeah, and you really can grow. Okay, so this, what is this one? Oh yeah, this is okay, now I got it. Do I get it right? Yes, I do. Okay, this one is for the people that have loved and shared out the video. Your name gets put in here. Because there's so many for the whole month, I take it out by week and break it down, and then we put it in here. Ready? Okay. Got one. I think it's one. Yes, it's one. Kate Nell. Kate Nell. Oh, Kate had a question. Hold on. I remember Kate. Kate, you were here a minute ago. So you want a 15-minute? We probably could do that today. What Kate? I seen her name come up. Oh, that was a while ago, Brenda. I wonder what she asked. I know it was something that's, I thought. Kate, are you here, my dear? No. There it is. Do you think, okay, oh, maybe I did answer it. Do you think it was about self-judgment, self-acceptance? Yeah, I did answer it. Okay. Miss Kate, if you're here, Kate Nell, you are the winner of 15 minutes with me. Let me dump all these out. Start fresh. So anybody from today that's loved and shared, your name, your name will be put into this. And this one is for all the people that paid, like Melissa. Her name will go into the new month of July. And July is my birthday month. Okay. Don't fall open. What is that? It's a string stuck. Thor! Oh, is she here? Miss April Thor. Thor 1. And then I'll get rid of these. I'll do it later. All right, so Thor won the 30-minute. And Kate won the 15-minute. Excellent. Wonderful winners. And then we have a pay it forward. We love that. We love that. We love that. And then we will get to the free reads in a moment. Let's see here. July, that's right. It's our birthday month, April. Yes. And because I'm not going to be eating cake, I asked for more clothes. Now, normally I don't care about clothes, but being on the show, yeah, kind of need to change up my wardrobe just a tad. Oh, Nikki, she's in August. My daughter is 2 days before mine, and my son is in August. So I had one of each. Yes. Okay. Let's see. That's not where the PM is. Okay. And okay. Yes, I do have the number, so we can play for a few minutes. What we'll do is I have the number to the pay it forward, and that is to come on here with me. So let's play that right now. And so fire away. Tell me what number between 1 and I'd say 1 and 30.